heavy rain, tornadoes, wildfires, flooding. Deltona and Volusia County have the unfortunate distinction of playing host to all of these natural disasters, and it's up to the residents to be prepared on how the weather affects Deltona.
Know what kind of weather conditions will affect them. You know, we're sitting here in Deltona, we're about 30 miles inland, so we don't get some of the direct effects of a hurricane. As an example, we don't have to worry about a storm surge. We're not going to have a tidal wave that's going to affect us here in Deltona, but we do have the winds. So what kind of trees do you have around your home? What kind of loose objects do you have in your yard, and patio furniture and things like that that can be put away before a hurricane or an expected wind event? And we get a lot of those high winds that just come through as wind gusts from the severe thunderstorms that we get through in the summertime. So those kinds of things we need to think about in preparing for them. Another very important thing that people can do for these weather emergencies is in getting a weather radio. They're very economical. You can get a very good quality one. They sell at many of the local stores for about $30. It can be programmed pretty darn easy, and we'll be glad to help out if the people need help in programming them, to where it's area specific, so that whenever a storm or some kind of weather event is approaching the Volusia County area, this weather radio will go off and it'll notify you. So if you're not having the TV or radio on at the house, it's 3 o'clock in the morning, or maybe you're just working around, this weather radio will give you an alert and will tell you what the problems are and what's developing and what's heading your way.
It's important to know how your house is constructed. Is it a mobile home or a modular house? Or is it traditional construction made of either lumber or block? Each type of building dictates what you can do to protect yourself in the event of severe weather, especially tornadoes.
Tornadoes is one that's a little bit more difficult to plan for, because a lot of times you don't know when they're coming. But even with those, you can think a little bit. You know, what is the safest room in your home to go to? Do you have a room that's an interior bathroom or something that doesn't have any windows? It's a proven fact that the smaller the room is, the safer the room is in a tornado. So you always want to go to a small bathroom or even a closet to get into, because that smaller structure is going to hold up much better than a large open structure.
And once the storm hits, and if your house is impacted, are you prepared to protect your family and property from additional damage and to keep your family safe?
Is your house susceptible to high winds? Do you live in a site-built home that's a solid-built home, or do you live in a mobile home, or do you live in a manufactured home that was just delivered onto the lot? And there are a lot of those here in Deltona. So how sturdy is your home? Do you have ways to protect the windows and openings from flying debris during one of these wind events? Do you have some of the basic materials that after the fact? We saw homes in 2004 that had the shingles ripped off the roof of the house from the hurricanes, and the inside of the home was perfectly fine. There was no interior damage at all. But if those people weren't able to get those roofs covered in a couple of days, the afternoon thunderstorms that we always see, the rain started coming in, they started leaking in, it started damaging the ceilings, the ceilings started collapsing in, and then all of a sudden the home is unlivable. And we saw homes that went from a $5,000 roof to a $50,000 home damage in 3 to 4 days' time.
The best way to ensure you and your family survive a severe weather event is to be prepared, and both Deltona and Volusia County have information available for our residents.
Every year, Volusia County Emergency Management, we work with them in putting out a disaster preparedness guide. It's put out June 1st at the beginning of hurricane season, but it has a lot of good information about any kind of these weather events that you would have to deal with all year long. Those are also available at City Hall, at the local library, and at the fire stations. There's also information online at the Volusia County Emergency Management website, as well as the City of Deltona's website, that has information about disaster preparedness, how to put together a first aid kit, what kind of supplies that you should have in the way of food and water if a hurricane are coming. So all that information is out there, and the people just need to put some basic things together.
The City of Deltona has also received a designation of a storm-ready community, a certification that is earned by having a comprehensive emergency plan in place in the event of severe weather impacting Deltona and its residents. Additionally, the Deltona Fire Department monitors the weather at several stations around the city. So if a weather situation is imminent, Deltona and its residents will be prepared. To get more information on preparing for severe weather and to get assistance in activating your weather alert radio, contact the Deltona Fire Department at 386-860-7177.